Everybody count down with me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bam, 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 bam. Happy New Year! This is the year of the one thing. For those of you who didn't have a chance to know what it was like to go live for the New Year's because you were an early sleeper, well, Happy New Year's. Welcome back, everybody, to the whole new, well, this is round 2, I would say round 2 of the confusion of the world, AKA COVID-20. It was COVID-19 last year. So since it's now 2021, I'm just calling it COVID-20 and the upgrade. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Obom Bowen, and I'm giving this the first here 4 or 5 minutes maybe on Facebook, because we're on Facebook Live right now. If you're watching on Facebook Live, the link is in the comment below so you can join. What I am going to do is invite you to join us live on here, because I'm going to teach you the one thing, and then after a few minutes of the intro, I'm going to stop sharing on Facebook, and you got to come inside to get the secret sauce. If you want the sauce, you got to come inside and test it out. For those who've been following, I see so many familiar faces and some new ones, and I'm absolutely excited. Why? For those of you who don't know, and those of you who made it on, if you were following me, then you've probably invited someone. This is 2021, the year of the one thing. You guys want to know more about what's going on with the year of the one thing and how I'm actually helping other entrepreneurs, you can go to theyearoftheonething.com and you'll see more. In fact, that's the link today after we're done here, that you can actually learn a little more about the opportunity and the offer. I'm going to share with you guys here. But before I jump into anything else, I just want to say one last time, welcome everyone. I am super excited for what's actually going to happen, what's going to share. And what I would like to do before we jump into everything, I would just like to sit back and listen, right? And here's what I'm going to do. For the next few minutes, I'm going to ask if my wife can join me here for a second. Here's what I'm going to ask you, honey. Everyone you see from your screen at the top, on my screen, it's Dean. So I would like for you to see the name and call on the person. So for the next few minutes, here's what we're going to do. They're the one thing. This is the one thing most of us are calling in from all over the place. Just for the next few minutes, choose a person just to say your name. Here's what you're going to say, your name, and what's the one thing you're hoping to get out of this webinar today. Your name and the one thing, not where you're from. Listen, the number one thing to become successful is being able to follow simple instructions. So again, like I'll start off the first one. So, and then my wife will choose who will go next. So here's what you're going to do. She'll call on me first, and here's how it's going to go. Honey, my name is Obom Bowen, and the one thing I look to get from today's webinar is just fun.
Can't hear.
Dean, you're next.
We could not hear you, Anna. Try again.
All right. Well, I'm going to take it over from here. We'll go. I see Dean in my top screen first. Dean Park.
Dean Park, and what I'm looking to get out of this webinar is new ways to set new topics for 2021.
Excellent. And I see Miss Schreider. Hope I'm saying it right.
Schneider.
Schneider.
Hi, I'm Ildi Schneider, and what I'm looking for today is to get clarity on goal setting for this year.
Excellent. Thank you. Debbie.
My name is Debbie Koensbihari, and the one thing is to get clarity on what my actual one thing is, because I don't know.
Excellent. Martin. Martin, you're on mute. Important if you take yourself off.
I didn't realize I remuted myself. Hi, this is Martin. And I'm unmuted now, and I want to know the secret sauce.
The secret sauce. Got you. Kella.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Kella, and the one thing I'm looking to get from here is which strength to focus on.
Excellent. And Vinny Cochran.
Hello, family. Vinny Cochran here. And the one thing I'm looking to get out of this webinar is perspective.
Perspective. Great one. Patricia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patricia, and the reason that I'm here is because I want to clarify or discover what is exactly I need to do to get a diamond.
Excellent. And Afia.
My name is Afia, and I am here to gain even more clarity on my one thing.
Love it. Excellent. Carmen.
Hello, everybody. This is Carmen. And just like Afia, I am here for clarity on my one thing too.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Yvonne or Yvonne's iPhone.
Hi, my name is Yvonne, and I'm here just to learn more about how to set out my goals.
Awesome. Thank you. And Luis, AKA my dad.
Hello, my name is Luis Alvarez. I'm here to learn how to get to Dubai because we want to go to Dubai with Diana.
Excellent. Claudia.
Hi, my name is Claudia, and I am here to get knowledge and guidance.
Excellent. Miss Anna Bowen, the First Lady. Oh, well, Anna, we can't hear you, but it sounds like you said you're here to find out how sexy your husband is. Got you. Yes. You're on. Okay. Nelly.
I'm here for growth and go to the next level.
Got it. Mo.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm here. My name is Mohammed Mashkour. I'm here to gain laser focus on learning my one thing.
Excellent. Diana.
Hi, my name is Diana Castro, and I'm here to learn more about my one thing.
Excellent. iPhone the Melaris. Hopefully I said it right. Melaris, the Melaris. Going once, twice?
You probably have to say it in Spanish, Dr. O.
Okay. We will active translate. Come on, Milares, and then Diana will translate for you.
Milares, ¿cuál es la razón por la que estás en el seminario el día de hoy?
Excellent. We'll come back to Milares. Let's skip over, go to Grace.
Hi, my name is Grace, and I'm here for the path to the Diamond Summit.
Okay, excellent. Alejandra.
Hello, I am Alejandra Bejarano, and I was hoping to find reassurance on my one thing.
I love it. Reassurance. Thank you. Samira.
Hi, Dr. O. Samira here, and I'm here to feel the passion of Dr. Obom to keep me on my mission and to never give up on the goal of being diamond or above.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to do my job. Thank you. All right. Sandra Gonzalez.
Hi, how are you? I'm here to get knowledge and I want to be successful.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's a good one.
Thank you.
Stephanie Bolan.
Hi guys, my name is Stephanie Boland and I'm here to get more knowledge on how to optimize my SEO using my one thing.
Awesome. I love it. Good one. And we have a Tiffany Dabbs.
Hi, Dr. Bowen. This is Tiffany Dabbs. I hope you guys are having a great day. And my one thing I want to gain from today's message would be more grounding in my goal decision making.
Okay, awesome. That's a great one. Carrie Morgan.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Great. What's your one thing you'd like to get from this webinar today?
Maybe just some more clarity and clarity in on my path and where I'm supposed to be going.
Okay, awesome. Good. Clarity. Wonderful. We have Rosemary Giz. What's your one thing you want to get from the webinar today?
Hello, Rosemary Giz here. And what I want is to really, really fine tune, focus in on what my one thing is, and clarity on getting my health back in where it needs to be, and growth.
Excellent. Thank you. Wonderful. And I see Daisy Reeves. Hi, Daisy. What's your one thing?
Hi, I am going to answer for Daisy. She sent me a message. She's on listening mode because the kids are going to sleep. And her one thing, no, I'm sorry. She wants to know what her one thing is, and she wants to be able to see how she can stick to her goals.
Awesome. That's a good one. We're going to definitely answer that. And I see we have Miss Vero, hopefully I'm saying it right, Vero Lascurain or Rascurain. Vero?
I'm here. Hold on. Let me close the door because my dog is barking.
All right.
That's why I was so silent. Hold on. Sorry.
No worries.
I have to come to my room because he won't stop barking. See? I'm so sorry. And then he's like, stuck to me like glue. So now he's gonna come in here and bark. I'm so sorry. Okay, I just want to learn more. There's so much that I still feel like I need to learn. So I'm here because every time that I have the opportunity, I want to be with you guys. I can learn more and more and more.
Awesome. Thank you so much. One thing, how to keep the dog quiet on Zooms. That's a good one. I'm going to try to do that.
Yes. Yes.
All right. And I think the last person we see here is Galaxy Note 20. Whomever you are, Galaxy Note 20. What's the one thing you'd like to learn by the end of this webinar?
Hello, my name is Daniel, and I would like to get some more knowledge and clarity for the things I got to do.
Wonderful. Thank you. You're definitely in the right place. And then our last person, we won't forget you, was our dear friend that needs a translator. Diana, would you like to translate for Miladis?
Yes, of course. Miladis, Dr. O quiere saber por qué estás
¿Cómo
acá.
alcanzar lo que te propongo? Hola, buenas noches.
¿Cuál es la razón por la que te conectaste al seminario?
Bueno, la razón principal por la que me conecté a este seminario es porque quiero enriquecerme personalmente, llegar a lograr la meta propuesta para mí en este 2021, poder llegar al nivel en Asira que me puse como meta el 31 de diciembre del 2020, poder lograrlo, poder aprender las metas, poder aprender las tácticas, poder aprender cómo va a ser este camino que voy a trazar para poder lograr mi objetivo.
So she said she's connecting to the seminar today because she wants to learn about personal growth, to learn how to reach her goals, and to set a path to reach her goals that she set up on December 31st of last year.
Awesome. So I thought when she came on, we were just going to use her as our new DJ because she was just bumping. I love it. It's awesome. So excellent. Here's the great news. There wasn't one that that I didn't have to say like we had to think about, because all of it falls into what we're going to talk about today. So I'm absolutely excited to share with you all that you're in for a treat. When I say a treat, I mean a real treat. I don't mean like a trick or treat. It's not Halloween. It's Dr. Roseween. What's Dr. Roseween? I'm going to talk to you today, as I promised everyone, about the most important thing, because I've coined this year the year of the one thing because of this. In my life as an entrepreneur, and I will share my story more as we go through this, but the first thing I want to say is this. We've met everyone now, so we're all family now, and I'm going to have a conversation with you like family. With my family, I don't beat around the bush. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm going to tell you, if you fart on here and I can hear it, I'm going to tell you, turn your mic down because your fart's disturbing everybody else. That's what family does, okay? Debbie's already laughing. Second part is this. I'm going to have fun, because my one thing I said, I want to have fun. I want you to have fun. I am an inter-trainer. I don't teach, I inter-train. So I'm going to introduce you to your digital self, your digital button. If I say something and you think it's funny, you don't laugh, then you could press the digital button, you can laugh. You can show that you have a personality on Zoom. So hit the digital button and laugh. If what I said made you feel warm and fuzzy, or you just love me a little bit, then you can hit the heart. You can also choose to celebrate me, or you can give a high five, you can clap, or if you like something, you can give a thumbs up. You notice they didn't put a thumbs down. There shouldn't be a thumbs down, because I will just reach across and start smacking folks all across the place, right? So this is going to be highly interactive. I'm going to ask you to type and share things in the comments and drop them there. Now, here's what I'm going to preface with. Very, very successful people do very, very unorthodox things. And most people who are just like a little too cool, like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, participate. Here's something I'm going to share. Hopefully it's not you. The reason why you're not advancing in life is because you're not doing what successful people are doing. You're like, oh, that's like, why are they doing that? I don't have to do that. One of the things a lot of unsuccessful people say is like, I don't have to stand up in the mirror every day and look and say affirmations and my goal. Well, that's why you don't have what those folks have. Right. So remember, today we're family. I'm going to share some stuff. Here's the deal. Like a mentor of mine told me years ago, said, what I've said, if it offends you, it was meant for you. Okay, great. So, but we're going to have fun today. If it offends you, it should be just enough to rub you right to make a decision. And then at the end of it, is it okay if at the end, during the course of this next like hour and 20 minutes or so with you, is it okay if I ask you to participate or move further with me to maybe possibly to work together? Would that be okay? If it's okay, give me a digital high five. Digital high five. Okay, I got like a high 4 depending on most of you guys, but that's okay though. I love everybody. You guys ever heard the song, I love all of you, but only in different ways. So today, because this is the year of the one thing, here's why I really created it and I started doing this on Facebook, is over my life, I have been both wealthy and poor. Well, poor, I've been wealthy, poor, and broke. Difference between the three. Poor is passing over opportunities routinely or regularly. When I got my head out of you know where, it smells really bad. When I got my head out of there, I realized I was broke, and then I started taking opportunities. So broke is a temporary state of mind or living. Poor is choosing to remain that way. The most wealthiest people in the world, or the most successful people in the world, are those who are choosing not to be successful, because wealth and poverty is a choice. And today we're going to talk about the one thing that help you out. What I realized is I was focused on so many things for so many years. And we're going to dispel a lot of those misnomers today. And I so want to help you guys. I so want to help my family. If you're here right now today, if it's the first time you're getting to know me, we're family, at least for the day. And then afterwards, you can say, I went to this webinar, saw this crazy dude. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's talking about the one thing. But my goal is today, if I can help you with the one thing for you in your life that is going to take your business to a 6 or 7 figure income, would that be good for you? If that would be, just put a smiley face, because that's what's going to happen when you go to the bank and look at your account difference at the end of 2021 if it starts to change. You're going to be smiling like, I knew it. I listened to that crazy guy and it worked. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it, family, and talk about how to find your one thing. How to find your one thing. How to find your one thing and focus for 2021. How to find your one thing and focus for 2021. This is incredible, right? Most people, I'm sure of you, let me go back to it. How many of you have heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket? How many of you guys heard the saying, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I've heard that. And you know, the first time this really took to me, I was in the military and we were doing an exercise. And my commanding officer basically said, we're going to move the entire battalion to a path. And one of the captains was like, that's like putting all your eggs in one basket. And here's what he said. And I have since modeled the same phrase. He says, yes, we're going to put all our eggs in one basket, but we're going to protect the shit out of that basket. So today, I'm going to share with you how you can put your focus, which is your eggs. That's because you're focused all over. Most of us are focused all over the place. Those are your eggs. You focus on this, you focus, or you believe you're focused on this, and you focus on that. And I'm going to stop this normal right away. There is, write this down. There is no such thing as multitasking. There is no such thing as multitasking. But I can do I can do 8 things at one time, 6 things at one time. Well, I hear this one sometimes from a lot of my very talented women friends, like women are great at multitasking. No, if you're doing 8 things, you're distracted by 7. There's no such thing. The brain can only focus on one thing at a time. Now I can prove it to you too, if you want to, Just think about it. You're driving a car. Can you look up front and in the rearview mirror at the same time? No, you can glance over back and forth. But if you keep looking in the rearview mirror, you're going to crash. And that's the purpose of today's webinar, to help you stay focused on the front. Look back in the rearview mirror to remember. Look back at those goals to know where you're at. Keep you accountable. So put your eggs in this one basket, because when you do and you protect the crap out of that basket, it's good. You protect your basket. People who often do this don't often fail, right? So which basket do you watch? We're going to talk about that. How do you actually know which basket is the right basket? Here's a hint. Here's a clue. The one that yields the most dividends to what you actually really want. And the one thing we're going to ask you today is being able to ask the question that provides clarity, because clarity leads to focus. We're going to talk more about that too. It's going to be wonderful. So I know some of you don't know who I am. Some of you are on here for the first time, and some of you who are on Facebook, you may not know who I am. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Humpty. No, I'm kidding. But let me introduce to some of you who I am, and then we'll go on with the training, because you may want to know who this crazy guy is. And, as Forrest Gump says, crazy is as crazy does. So many people, all of us, we are living life either in V or S. Either pushed by vision or you're being pulled back by your story. True balance will never be this round, beautiful wheel we think it is. Because we're goal seeking. You were born and your brain, God gave you, it's a GPS. So it always has to seek a goal. I want to frame your brain the right way. The majority of the energy in the world is negative. Positivity has to be sought after. This is what's holding people back. They are stuck in their story.
The great, the brilliant, the genius, Mr. Obom Bowen. And you want to talk about value. The way that this guy delivers hour after hour is out of this world. It's stellar.
We heard him speak about all the things that can take you or your business to the next level.
I met Dr. O, and my life has just changed since. I read his book and I started working on it right away. It was things that I already knew, a lot of things that I didn't know, and it's just putting them together and in practice just literally changed the whole way that you think and made me leap forward.
Dr. Obom Bowen is a decorated retired Marine, having received the Purple Heart for his service and wounds sustained in combat. Scholastically trained as an MD, MBA, PhD, and having obtained a doctorate in divinity, Dr. Bowen has used his knowledge and expertise to position himself as one of the foremost authorities in the study of human potential. Working with Fortune 500 companies, including but not limited to Chevron, Walmart, Walgreens, Intel, and others, Dr. Bowen has been able to show measurable results from his training programs. Dr. Bowen's book, Today is the Day, is the subject of study in lecture halls across the country, giving countless numbers of individuals the opportunity to achieve their maximum potential in life. A true servant leader, Dr. Bowen is enlightening the world to a better way of doing business, obtaining success, and living the most abundant life possible. Please give your most enthusiastic welcome to your speaker, Dr. Obom Bowen.
So many people. Okay. Thank you all so very, very much. I sincerely appreciate it and you. And now we're happy to continue with the matter at hand. I'm going to stop share for a second because we're going to go and stop being live on Facebook. Sorry, Facebook. If you want to join, come join the webinar. Okay. Now, first thing I'm going to share with you, listen, mindset is everything. Write that down. If anyone wants to help me and help others follow along with notes, you can type that in. Mindset is everything. There's possibly 2 mindset on here that might have just watched the video, the introduction of myself. And might say like, oh, well, he's so full of himself. Yes, who else should I be full of? No one else except me. So I wanted to introduce to you who I am, the way the world needs to know me. That's a very, very big lesson because too many people let the world see them how the world see them, not how the world needs to see them. Is this making sense? So for your one thing this year would all be focused on how are you going to show you to the world? You can't ever let anyone, this is what finding your one thing is all about. It's owning your identity. Write that down. Owning your identity in your one thing this year, whatever that one thing is. In chapter 13 of my book, Today's the Day, that has to do all with that. Talks about self-esteem. Self-esteem is the estimation of oneself. No one can ever bring your self-esteem down unless you let them. No one can ever treat you bad unless you give them permission to. So write this one down. People will treat you how you teach them to treat you. Does that make sense? Now, especially for those of you who don't know me or know what I've done, most folks see me on Facebook and I'm just always having fun, playing silly, doing whatever. No one knows what I do behind the scenes. No one does. Well, there was a little glimpse for those that don't know, right? I'm just this crazy guy on Facebook and in life and everybody, no one knows and understands. But what I do behind closed doors for companies, for giants, for businesses, for brands, is I help them identify that one thing that is going to help them go to the next level. Then I create systems, processes that help them actually get there and achieve it. So if you're ready to move forward and jump into the information right now, just pop on whatever you feel like it. It could be the high five, the thumbs up, the smiley face, the surprise, the heart, or the explosion right now, because I'm about to explode. See, all those of you exploding, y'all know what's about to happen. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the love. Appreciate you guys. Okay, so let's jump into the information about the one thing and give you this. The power. It's a very powerful word. The power of quality questions is going to give you quality answers, which is going to drive quality results. So it's no news that we all have goals. We all do. So we all have goals and we all want to get things done. We all want to get our one thing done this year. We all want to earn more money. Most of us want to release more weight. And that's okay. Most of us want to regularly exercise. Like right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I want to regularly exercise. I can't do it as much. My legs jacked up, my knees killing me. And my calves, I pull a muscle because I overdid it because I was going for it, closing out 2020 to step into 2021, working on my sexy. Okay. And then I overdid the sexy too much, but that's okay. We all want these things and we all can work towards them. So we're going to talk about this one thing and how it relates to everything else. So to achieve our goals, we need answers. The right answers coming from the most powerful quality of questions you can ask. And that's what I'm going to share with you today, right? The path and basically how to attain that through asking the right questions. In investing, in bodybuilding, for those who want to go a little more deeper, building a self-sustaining business is the most important one. I think probably for about 99% of everyone on the webinar today, right? So again, this is the year of the one thing. So it's not what if you're an entrepreneur. Everyone here is an entrepreneur. And as an entrepreneur, let me give you what the definition, the true meaning of the word really means, so you actually get it and understand. And it's going to help you further as you continue to look at business or businesses or opportunities. The word itself means one who takes risk or a risk taker. So if you call yourself an entrepreneur, but you're risk avertant or you don't like risk, you're not really an entrepreneur. You're better suited to be an employee where you can go to work and have a guaranteed income and you're there. Now, it's okay to be an entrepreneur and have what's called an hypothesis, which is a calculated guess or estimation of something, because you know that I take risks all the time, very high risks. Now, one of the reasons I believe, me personally, that I've been able to be so very successful is when I realized the one thing that separated me from most other entrepreneurs was my level of risk. As a Marine, I spent 20 years in the Marine Corps. All of those years I spent as an infantryman, which means I was on the front line fighting. I was in combat. I got blown up a few times. I received the Purple Heart, as the speaker said in my intro. That's a medal you don't want to receive. It's cool. Everybody says it's Purple Heart, but do you know what has to happen for you to get a Purple Heart? You have to be shot, bleed in combat, or die. All three happens. That's not an award you need. You need to get shot. I got blown up 3 separate times. I got shot in my shin, shot in my toe. Yeah, they could take the medal back. It's all good. But because of it, though, I'll tell you why I love the benefits of it, though. You know, free parking, handicap parking. I can go front row parking anytime you go to some place at an event. It's always front row. There's guaranteed parking. Those are some of the, but do I really need parking? No, I'd rather walk and not be shot and not feel the pain that I'm still feeling. But as an entrepreneur, we have to take risks. So let's say, for example, what I have shared here, you're an author. I'm an author. You're an author, but book sales are low and it's impacting your income. So you ask yourself the number one question: how do I actually generate more sales? That's what we ask. It's logical. So in order to find a solution, you either go ask your first best friend, Google, because Google is everybody's best friend, and you ask some other colleagues, and you ask a few of them, and eventually you get advice about how to actually increase your book sales. So by applying what you learn from them, you start to learn a couple of deeper things that through generating customer reviews from those who purchase your books and things that happen, that your readers wanted actually more detailed examples of how you can improve them in their lives. And that's a way to actually improve your brand yourself. Through asking the right questions, though, is what helped you to gain valuable data that helped you or will continue to help you in the future to take the right actions towards the desired results. Most people aren't asking the right questions. So the goal is not just to ask questions, it's to ask the right question. What is the question? What's going to help you find the one thing to be very effective? You know, when I met my wife the very first day, I didn't wait. Some of you heard the story. The one thing I asked, I told her we were going to get married day one. That's what I wanted. I don't date without the intention to get married. It's a waste of my time. Took her 7 years though, but it's okay. I had to focus on that one thing. Imagine this, that one thing for 7 years. If you're a guy here, well, guy, married or single, just, you know, put, my wife's laughing. See, she put the smiley face on, match her, put the smiley face on. If you're a guy, let me ask you this, Kelly, you can put it on too, bro. I know you can. There you go. You can put it on. You can laugh at me. It's okay. I think it's funny enough. I laugh at myself too, right? But I stayed 7 years. Well, 3 years as a friend, 3 years as we dated. Here's what she learned in that though, that he can be persistent. That is the greatest word and attribute for you to have as an entrepreneur. So write that down, persistent. Because what I'm going to share with you today with the one thing, being consistent and persistent, is going to help towards your success. So when I decided what my one thing was this year, and I'm going to help you get to yours here shortly, my one thing, for those of you who've been following on social media, my one thing, or YouTube, is growth this year. Well, growth for what? And then I broke that down in categories. But on Facebook, I've been sharing more of growth in business. I choose growth as my one thing. Well, what happens when you grow your business from this level? It's a comfort zone. In order to get to the next level, you have to keep growing, get out of that comfort zone, and it's painful, right? So my definition of growth is very simple. Consistently move from your current comfort zone. Is this making sense? If it's making sense in business, it makes dollars. It's very, very important. So the goal is to ask better questions, right? It isn't always obvious what the correct question to ask is. Like, how many of you, you can drop a me in the comment, has ever been some like to an event or seminar or something, and then there's a one guy or one girl that asks questions, and it's like, oh, you was like, oh my gosh, I wish I asked that question. Drop a me in the comment. It's like they're asking, and you're like, oh, there's like nowhere in my mind I could have even think of that question. Most of the times they probably heard it from somebody else and learned it and repeat it, but sometimes it takes a few attempts before the real issue is revealed. And what happens, why, I'm going to tell you this, the reason why sometimes we don't ask the right questions. Actually, no, let me see. We'll take a poll here real quick. Why do you think, you can comment in anyone, it doesn't matter, no wrong answer. Why do you think we don't ask the right questions sometimes? Anybody, type your answer in the comment. I'm looking at fear. Don't have fear. Okay, great. Fear is a big one. Great. Fear goes along with it. So as you type it in, fear of being judged, there's that too. Here's really what it is. Because if you're looking to ask a question, you go down and down and down and down and down and down. You get to the one question. It is part of the category of fear. I guess you would say it's the cousin of fear. It is the lack of being vulnerable. Because getting to the one thing is you're not open to being vulnerable, especially if you have to ask that question in public or somewhere else. When you do away with that being judged because you're not willing to be vulnerable, the right answers show up because the right questions come. So it is a derivative of fear. But it's if I have to put a label to it, it would say fear of vulnerability, right? Most people don't like being vulnerable. But the greatest thing for you to understand is this: vulnerability is a strength. Vulnerability is one of the greatest strengths you can have, especially as an entrepreneur. Because here's the deal, I'm just going to give it to you raw. If your business sucks, you should tell people your business sucks. Not just everybody, people as in those who can help you unsuck your business, those who can help you move the needle in your business. Does this make sense? Right? If you have a coach, don't let them ask 18 questions. Have them ask one and just get to the root of it. So sometimes it takes a few attempts. That's because you have to go through and become vulnerable. But not all goals come with a blueprint. Not all of them. But I can promise you this, every single one that you guys said that your goal was for tonight, it comes with a blueprint that I'm going to give you today. It comes with a blueprint. Those specifically comes with a blueprint. And here's the other piece. Some blueprints may not be right for everyone. I'm going to say that again. Some blueprints may not be right for everyone. And what worked for one person might not work for you. But one of my greatest skills, one of my greatest talents is taking the complicated and making it simple. If something worked for me and I kind of measure up what could possibly work for someone else, similarly, I could be able to peel back the layer of the onions, even when they're not being vulnerable, because I'm a psychologist, I'm a head guy, a shrink, right? Hey, I can figure out what's going on and be able to ask them the provoking questions enough for them to give me the answer. So then it begs to say that true achievement requires that we actually create our own repeatable process, right? So when you find out what works with someone else, you take it internally and then you figure out what you can do. What's a repeatable process? A repeatable process is today when you're able to find out the one thing for you, then you take that and you repeat it. If it's, obviously we're focusing on business tonight, right? But you take that and repeat it to see, well, how does this work in relationships? How does this work for sports? How does this work for food? How does it for anything? Now, I use the same process, the one thing, specifically for relationships. Now, I must, before I move into it, for those of you who don't know me, because a couple things may pop out. It's just how I naturally flow. My favorite subject in the world is sex. A few things may come up about sex tonight because I love to relate sex back to everything else. And I realized some people are here that don't know me. So I was actually going to say, I've used this for sex with my wife every single time. I do all the time. The one thing, Debbie's like, oh, yeah, right? I've got it down to a science now. Debbie, you know, like people are married. Look, she's laughing. She knows it. She's like, did he just say that? Yes, he did. Most couples, they're like, there is no conversation in our house about the topic of sex. It has now come down to, over years, I've created my own blueprinted system. I just give her the look now. Just, it's a look and a smile. She knows what it means. Right? Just saying, I'm going to be open and honest with you. I'm only asking that you be open and honest because I may take somebody from here and do an exercise with them tonight. And if you're open and honest, you will see changes right away. Okay, Kel, you're laughing. It's okay. I got it. At least I guess I'm funny. Now, am I funny or funny looking? Which one is it? So I think I'm funny. Well, let's talk about this question that can help you with everything else. From my life's work today, the one thing. Here's what it is. The one thing is the 1% focus differentiator that generates clarity and effective direction. The one thing is the 1% focus differentiator that generates clarity and an effective direction. Now, let me break this down a little bit because you have to understand that clarity leads to focus. You can't focus on what you want to do this year unless you are clear on what you want to do. Is this making sense? So let's say, for example, all right, I'm good because he's in the center of my screen. Lewis said he wants to go to Dubai with Diana for his business. Like, okay, great. That's clear enough and concise. So let's break it down. Let's go to the 1% thing that can happen just for that. Go to Dubai. Here's an example of how it works. And then we're going to break it down some more. The one thing for him going to Dubai with his wife, because they're going to be diamonds, right? Is the 1% focus differentiator. So what is he going to focus on to be a diamond to go there? That generates clarity in an effective direction. Well, the one thing they can do, obviously, is basically focus more on recruiting and building his business, right? So great. Recruiting and building his business. What more if you want? So that's the big goal, going to Dubai. Secondary to that was getting to diamond. Secondary to that is basically recruiting. Okay, great. Secondary to that is recruiting how much, how often, and what it comes down to. What is he going to do daily? Is this making sense? So he says, great, this is what I'm going to do. And this is all I'm going to focus on for this year. Well, for him, it has a time frame, a time element attached to it. So now he has to set a SMART goal. Setting that SMART goal at a specific time, he knows it's 90 days. Well, what is he going to do in the next 90 days? How many people does he need to help get there? And because of his goal, I know exactly what it looks like, so I can actually tell you what exactly to do. If you're taking notes, great. If not, start taking. As the recording will send it back to you too. But I know for sure, at a minimum, he wants to help within the next 2 to 3 weeks, recruit 3 people, help them do the exact same thing, and then help 10 people do that. That's how simple that is. Because his goal, I'm going to go to the board because I might have went over you or someone else because I know exactly what he's talking about. This is what his goal looks like, right? It's being able to break it down in measurable pieces. This is what his goal looks like. Remember, I said my ability, my whoop, I'll just put that there instead of drawing a whole bunch of it. That there. Instead of drawing 10 of them, just gonna say, what is this, Dr. O? What this is he's gonna help those 3 people, like, you know, person number 1 over here. And then person number 2. And person number 3. All it is for him to go to Dubai with his specific goal is to help 3 people, help 10, help 3. That's it. Now, if he focuses on that every single day for the next 90 days, is it possible? Absolutely, the answer is yes. So he comes back to, okay, what's the one thing that is going to help him do that effectively? Well, it's to develop and train and teach those who he brings and help them do the same thing. So he focuses on becoming the best effective 2 things, recruiter or trainer. That's all he's going to focus on for the next 90 days. Recruiting and training, recruiting and training, recruiting and training. Basically, he's going to teach others what he did. A good leader will never tell or teach unless they practice what they preach. So he's going to show them what he did. Leadership by example. Does this make sense? Right? So, Luis, I hope you got what you came for, because I know you did. That was fun. Okay, so how do we discover the root question, which I actually just went over the whole thing, but I'm going to break it down. How do we discover the root question so that you may actually reveal the true answer? So you ask yourself, what's the one thing? I went through that a little fast for Luis. But now for the one thing, we're going to break it down. See, the focusing, I'm saying the word again, the focusing, because once you get clear, then you can focus. The focusing on the one thing allows you to channel your attention and your actions in the most effective way possible. The most effective way possible. Now, here's the deal. I had done some coaching just recently with this young man, Kella, the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. And he's probably going like, yeah, Dr. O, you gonna call me out? Yes, you got to be a superstar right now. So Kella, why don't you share with everyone, from what you fully understand now, what is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness?
So what I got from it, and it was a great metaphor with using going to the club, and the goal of the night was to end up with, a date, right? So you can either go the long route and be efficient and be there till 2 o'clock in the morning while Dr. Obom comes in there. After an hour, boom, left, come back, and I'm still there till 2 a.m. trying to pick up a date. So being effective versus being efficient. So efficient is being around the bush, the long way, I guess, and being effective is straight to the point and getting the result.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Kella. Now I'm going to give you another one. This one, hopefully, if you get it and you get the laugh, please put the laugh emoji on so it shows, right? It's great. I'm going to give you another one. Some of you are going to be like, did he just say that? Yes, he did. I'm going to give you this one. The difference between being efficient and effective with farts. If someone passes gas and you hear it, it's efficient. You're like, oh, you farted. But if they farted and you smell it, you heard it and smell it, they've accomplished the goal. Effectiveness. Okay? The difference is one is a little more damaging than the other. One produces results more than the other. You guys get it? Okay. All right. So I just have to break it down, right? Efficiency. Some of the things that are efficient for us, like we use our phones to schedule things on our calendar, it's efficient. It's better than to put it down on your day calendar, write it down. That's more effective. There is a distinct correlation between writing down, right? Because here's what it does. Writing down things, writing clarifies thought. Doesn't take that much thought to type something in. But once you write, you have to slow down to clear it. How many of you have had amazing thoughts like an idea? Like, oh my gosh, we'll put this stuff in this paper, write a whole book. And then you figure you got done and you barely wrote a paragraph. Because what happened is with all those thoughts, you took them down, you focused, now you are effective, and you wrote down the most important pieces, the most important things. So that's what the purpose of becoming effective helps you to do, right? Now, the one thing, again, is focusing on the one thing that allows you to channel your attention and actions in the most effective way possible. Because it's going in, like Keller was sharing, I shared with him the date scenario. If I wanted to marry my wife when I saw her, well, hello, first day, hey, you're going to be my wife. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Here's what I know. When I looked at it, it means that temporarily she had vision blindness. It was my vision. For those of you who have faith, God gave me the vision that she was going to be my wife. She didn't see it. And with your business, with this one thing, that's what the one thing is. That by the end of the year, if you're focusing on this one thing, you're on the one thing. Eventually, people are, oh, that's what she's been talking about. That's what he's been doing. Guess what happened to my wife? She's like, oh, he really wanted to marry me. It's not just he just wanted to get in my pants. It's not that he just think I was cute. He just, no, yeah, I'm going to be real. She realized, well, I guess he's here because she had the same intention. She didn't want to date without the intention of getting married. Why would you run a business without the intention of it being profitable? Do you know that most people, here's why 85% of college students drop out. They set a goal to go to college. They never set a goal to graduate. If you watch the movie Coming to America, that's one of those moments. Here's why now 97% of businesses fail. They set a goal to start a business. They never set a goal to build a profitable business. Is this making sense? Right? The guy set a goal to get with the girl. And then he wonders, how come she don't want to marry him? Because that intention was never there. And we know how relationships go. This is why it's important, especially for women. Don't give it up. Nope, not that easy. Let them work for it. Because when they get it, they leave. Because maybe that was the goal. You just set the goal just to get it. But if the goal is not to be married, if you're looking for marriage and his goal is not to marry, wrong guy. If the goal is to build a 7-figure business and you're hanging around folks who aren't building a 7-figure business, wrong crowd. So the one thing is very important. Let's dive a little bit into it now. We're going to go through some of this stuff a little faster. I'm going to give you guys some more meat soon. So the one thing I can do, this is a question you want to ask yourself. Take some time right now. What is the one thing I can do to create clarity and direction towards its attainment, whatever that is? What is the one thing I can do that will create clarity towards the attainment of it? What is the one thing I can do that's going to create clarity? So I'm going to give you some time. Think about it. What is the one thing? So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, or actually 2.5, but we'll go to the 5-minute clock. We'll give you a few minutes. as we begin to wrap up in 3, 2, and 1. As a reminder, what is the one thing that I can do to create clarity and direction towards its attainment for yourself, for your business? What is the one thing? Now, here's the deal. If you don't have that yet, it's quite okay. Don't feel bad. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have it. We're going to move forward. That's all right. We're still moving forward. I'm going to help break a few more things down. That's going to help simplify this process for you. So if you didn't get that yet, write that down, because eventually, for those of you, somebody who did get it, and even if you didn't get it, we're going to work with you. So again, the one thing that you can create clarity and direction towards its attainment. Here's what that looks like. Right? This one thing reveals not only what your focus should be, but the most effective step towards getting it. Whatever this one thing is. Kella, did you pick your one thing? Nope. Okay. No problemo. As Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, not a problem. Okay. Martin, did you pick your one thing? What's your one thing, Martin?
I thought I unmuted myself. Focus on my end goal.
Focus on your end goal. Okay, great. That's great. It's still vague. What's your end goal?
To be diamond.
To be diamond. Do you see the difference, right? Asking the right question. What's this one thing? To be diamond. Excellent. By when?
By March.
By March. March when?
March 31st.
March 31st. Okay, great. So March 31st, diamond. Now we know what your one thing is, right? My end goal, like, who knows what it is? Well, I don't know, Pinky, take over the world. Now we know March 31st, his one thing is diamond. Is this making sense? So as we continue to go through, it is going to help show you how to break it down some more. So let's dive into that. Thank you for sharing, Martin. Appreciate you, right? So focusing on the one thing allows you to work in a multi-step task with ease, which is what I've been doing. I'm doing it faster, but for some of you, if you haven't practiced it a lot, you're like, oh, it went too fast. Now I'm breaking it down piece by piece. This is what helps you to focus and work on multiple steps with ease. Now, notice I didn't say multitask, because remember, there's no such thing, right? That's impossible to do, because the brain can only focus on one thing at a time. It can manage other things if you have systems in place. Now, working this way allows each new step to reveal itself effortlessly or faster. So for example, here's an example. Martin says, diamond, by when, Martin? Because I want you to say it.
March 31st, 2021.
March 31st, 2021. Now, here's what it does. The second step of that. Working allows each new step to reveal itself effortlessly. So now he knows, okay, great. Where do I need to be by this month, the next month, and the other? So each new step works in sequence of the other. Now, Martin, with that being said, for you, what is your halfway point to let you know, like, hey, I'm still somewhat on track? What is your halfway point?
Do you mean time-wise or goal-wise?
Goal-wise, what is your halfway point?
To be a platinum by mid-February.
Okay. When in mid-February?
February 15th.
February 15th. So February 15th to be. So what he's doing is he's chunking this goal down. Is this making sense? So that's the midpoint. And what's the first tangible point that will let you know is acceptable by the end of January for you?
How many people I've signed up to help me gain my goal and know their goal.
Okay, great. So what is your goal for that?
To sign on at least 6 more people before the end of the month.
So to sign on at least 6 more, or to sign on 6 more?
At least.
Okay, I'm going to ask again, to sign on at least 6 more or sign on 6 more?
Sign on 6 more.
Excellent. So now that's definitive. That's definite, right? The brain thinks in definiteness. Not, hey, at least, hey, I want to make at least, or I want to at least kiss her. Still kind of sort of, I don't know. Tonight, we at least get to kiss her. Well, you know, she can give you a hand, kiss her hands. Well, what kiss? What are you thinking about? You think kiss on the hands, kiss on the cheek, kiss on the lips, kiss with tongue? There's so many different kisses. If you're not specific, you don't get what that Debbie's laughing. But do we see where this is going, right? Write this down. Specificity drives clarity, and clarity creates focus. Remember? Because now that Martin is clear and specific on what he needs to do, he knows exactly what steps he needs. And this is what it's saying. Every time you get clearer, so the big goal helps you to chunk down and be more definitive on this one thing that it is you're going to do. So let's break it down some more. Focusing on the one thing prevents your attention from being scattered on multiple things at once. So the first half, step one, what's the one thing I can do for Martin? Instead of focusing on all different ways and outcome that he may achieve, instead of focusing on a specific action that he can apply right now. So Martin, what's the one thing you can do right now? What's the one thing you can do today, that'll help you towards your goal for the end of bringing on 6 people? What's the one thing you can do?
Call 5 people a day to come to a meeting.
Excellent. Did you guys see that? So Martin now has committed to talking to at least 5 people a day for his goal. Now, when you do the math, roughly, honestly, that's about right on track to what he wants to do. 5 people a day to invite them to see his opportunity. 5 people a day. So now that he's done that, okay, great. I'm going to take 5 people a day. That's his one thing that he can do today. See, I'm not asking about tomorrow. And this is the problem that most people have, right? Focusing in on the one thing. What's the one thing you can do? Not next week, not tomorrow. I don't want to know. What is the one thing today? What can you do today that transcribes over into every day? That is the one thing for him. If some of you have the exact same similar goal that I just did with Martin, hello, you can thank Martin. And some of you should be throwing up that little celebration thing that sounds like bam, 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 bam. You should be celebrating. You should be throwing that up right there because Martin just did your goal walkthrough for you for your one thing. If you have the same goal, all I did was I know that what we did with Lewis, now we know what Lewis had to do. And what Martin has to do is the exact same goal. Now we've broken it down into the daily activities. And that's what you do day in, day out. Remember, I says consistency and persistency. My wife, when I said I'm going to marry her, big goal, little goal, every single, listen, ask her if you think I'm not telling the truth. Every single day for 7 years, I showed up in her. There wasn't a day that I didn't see her in 7 years. Yeah, that's right. There wasn't one day that I didn't see her in 7 years. You know what that's called? Influence. Now ask yourself, because I'm a psychologist and I know this. Why would I jeopardize my influence of making her my wife for some other good-looking guy? I didn't say better looking, because even if I wasn't better looking, I needed to be the best looking guy in her eyes. She gets so sick and tired of seeing me. When she looks at another guy, she sees my face on him. Duh, it's called, yeah, exactly, Debbie. I was programming her consistently. It's the one thing that I knew that I could do every single day was show up with a smile on my face with a good attitude and offer her a ride somewhere else because her car was broke. And that's what I did. And eventually, for those of you who know my story, for those of you who don't, let me tell you, I was homeless for 5 years, living in my car. Well, 4 of those years, she ended up living with me. So the whole year, it took her to convince her to move into the mobile apartment. But since she realized I wasn't a stalker, she figured, well, I'll just go hang out with him. You know, it's all good. It's cool. What's the one thing you can do every single day? So my choice this year is to grow and help other people grow, which is why for those of you who are here, you became a part of the one thing I said I was going to commit to, which was doing a video live or recorded on Facebook every single day for the next year, day in, day out, late or early, doesn't matter, but I'm going to do it. That is consistent and persistent to help you with your one thing. So here you are today to learn about your one thing. The greatest thing that'll help you in your one thing is being able to find out what's that little thing that adds up to the other little thing, to the other little thing, to the other little thing, to the other little thing that gets you the big thing. And for my wife, it was showing up every single day, having an attitude better than her, because mine, I was broke too. I just had to be a little more encouraging than her. I just have to have a smile a little longer than her, because we were both in negative Allie. She was negative Nancy and I was negative Paul. And, you know, I have to become positive Paul. Hello. To eventually take her out of there. I had to look down, open. Are you done? You ready to come out and be my wife? Nope. Shut the door back. 7 years. Same question. It's all good, basically. How consistent are you towards the one attainment? So if this is helpful, if this is helping, do me a favor and just drop a H in the comments. Drop an H if this is helping. So that's the first part. Now that we're zoning in this one thing, Martin now knows every single day that's what he's going to do. He's going to talk, he's going to invite 5 people. Now, the second part is that what's the one thing I can do to create clarity and direction towards its attainment, right? There's a difference between genuinely being productive and getting things done and mindless activity, mindless efficiency. So instead of asking, I'm just going to tell him so he knows. The difference in getting those 5 people on and inviting them is not having 5 full-blown conversations. It's talking to 5 people, but here's where it gets a little deeper. Getting 5 people on may require that he talks to 10 or 15 people a day. Is this making sense? So if you're willing to commit to that, get through the small answers or the small pieces, the micro pieces have to help the macro pieces. And it's very important for us to understand. So keeping ourselves occupied, for most people, it feels like we're actually being effective. I'm talking to a whole bunch of folks, but just talking to them isn't going to help. It's just wasting time and energy. But the one thing we need to consider is how each action clearly moves us towards that ultimate goal. So for Martin now, it doesn't matter. He's going to show up every day. So many of you who've trained with me or know me know that I say, like, success is basically showing up consistently with a good attitude over a long period of time with desire and faith, willing to pay the price, finding others who will pay the price with you, and eventually success will take its course. Well, Martin now knows that every day he's going to invite 5 people. He may have to talk to 10 or 15, but he's going to invite 5 people. Now, whether all 5 of them from those 15 people he's talking to say whether they do it or not, which he's already going like, but whether they do it or not, it does not matter. What matters is you're doing the action of the thing you said you're going to do because you're committed. Commitment is doing the thing you said you're going to do long after the moment you said it. Long after this webinar is gone, because it felt good. Everybody was here and I'm encouraged. It's all, woo, you're about to ready to drop it like it's hot. When you leave, then you drop doing it every day. And then when it comes time for the goal, you're like, well, you know, I wish I should have, I would have, but, you know, I couldn't. Now, here's the deal. A lot of people should have, would have, could have, but didn't. And if you live your life going through, you shouldn't all over yourself, that's not pretty good. Tell people, stop shouldn't me. Just do it. Nike had it best. They created a whole brand around just do it. They're like, we don't care what your excuses, just do it. So I used to believe that I actually could multitask. And I told you guys there's no such thing. But then I actually realized that multitasking is just another form of distraction. As I said earlier, multitasking is another form of distraction. Now, I thought I could do 7 things at one time and eventually understood that if I'm doing 7 things, it means that I am distracted by 6 of them. And most of the times, like truly, here's the true fact. I'm not distracted by 6, I'm distracted by 7 things. Because I'm really not focused on one. Now, for those of you who don't know, what helped, and in that time where I was frustrating my wife really for 4 years in the car, is I was doing all these other things, spinning all these different plates. I had one opportunity to focus on, and I was like, well, I'm doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit, and just my focus then is somewhere else. Do you know what happened when I realized and paid attention to one of the opportunities? Took a while, but we got to a 6-figure income, and then within 5 months of that, we got to a multiple 7-figure income because I did that, got 6 figures, templatize it, learn to focus better, and then put that energy into something else. Well, how did it happen? It wasn't just a multiple 7-figure income. It was a 7-figure income. It was over $1.5 million in a 3-day period of time. And someone said, well, wow, what happened? Like, whoa. I spent the remaining months inviting into one big event that we did for relationships. We was able to get 1,600 people. No, I'm sorry, 1,500 people. Yeah, 1,600 people paying $1,500 for an event, 3-day event. Now that exact same event is $5,000. Times have changed. The value have changed. I've become a better person. Well, I've now been with my wife for almost 20 years. So, we got more secrets. That's all I'm going to say, right? Because of that, a book came out of the whole opportunity. An online course came out of the opportunity. A seminar, a mastermind, or program. Now, these are all things for the same one focus, where then I repurposed how that is used. So at the end here, the person that's helped me in repurposing a lot of my content and stuff that I do, I'm going to introduce you guys to her before we go. So some of you as entrepreneurs, you get a chance to find your one thing and then take it to a next level. How many of you would like to go and take your business to the next level? Type next level in the comment, please. Type next level. All right? Because it's important to not only find the one thing. I won't do you any justice just to give you the one thing and that's it. You don't know what to do with it. I'm going to help you take that one thing and take it to the next level. Because next level growth and achievement, which is my goal, next level growth. Here's what next level growth is. Next level growth is if you set your goal this year to earn $1 million in your business, if you've never earned $1 million before, and all of a sudden you got there by August, you set the goal for December, what do? I'm going to ask Debbie, what do you do?
I'm in awe because that's my goal, 1 million by August. Seriously, literally.
Okay. Well, here's the deal, Debbie. Once you get there in August, yay, it's exciting. What do you do after that?
Go to the next goal.
What's the next goal?
Double that million, make it 2 million.
Okay, so 2 million. Let me tell you how you're going to get to the million and even faster. See, never have just one goal. Every goal has to stretch. And you have to know within a cycle what the next goal is going to be. See, if you just set the $1 million goal, you're going to get to 1 million, you're going to flatten out. And if you got there, it's going to be harder to get it. But now you know what the second goal is. So if you get to, August, 1 million, it's like, okay, December, 2 million.
Okay.
It is going to drive you to that first goal. So write this down. Every time you set a goal, even in the achievement of that goal, when you're 70%, 75% close, reset the next goal. So she already knows, okay, her goal right now for this, it's 1 million, then 2 million, because she's trading, she day trade. She plays the market pretty well. She's a trading girl. Now, here's the deal. Look, she's trading. I want you guys to really get this because I know her, we talk. A few months back, she was ready to quit and throw in the towel.
Last week as well, Dr. O, I'm serious, just last week as well, like 5 days ago. It was like, I could have last Monday, my capital times 5. And it wasn't even that I didn't jump into the trade. I was in the trade. The profits were there. I just realized in this class that I didn't have clarity. That's why I didn't take it out. So the last couple of days, I was like, why the F didn't I take that money out? Second day, Tuesday, same thing. I could have tripled it. Same thing happened.
Well, congratulations. You've learned the lesson now.
I was so frustrated, Dr. O. Seriously. I
know. Well, I'm glad you were frustrated because you won't make that mistake again. And now you know why you made that mistake. That's the importance of focusing on the one thing. That is so the importance of it. Now, when you're starting to generate, now what would be the next thing? Let me give you some free. This is Dr. O to you.
Thank you, Dr. O.
The next thing you should start doing, you earn $1 million, you earn 2 million. You need to start focusing on how do you teach other people how to trade. So you're trading and you're earning money, you're teaching other people, you're still earning money too. How do you take your livelihood and help other people and still earn from that?
That's easy.
See, it's easy. I do remember the beginning days though. She's like, I don't know. But I also remember the first time when she said, Dr. O, I am going to quit my job and this is all I'm going to do full time. I remember those because she had clarity. Now it's the one thing to be able to focus on. I remember that. It's key and it's important. The one thing is very, very important. So it's the same. You repeat that process over and over and over and over again. Once you've mastered it, you start it again. So some more on the one thing, the practice of it. Let's talk about the practice. Practice, ooh, right? Do you know why they say doctors have a practice? Because we don't really know that much. We're always practicing, just like practicing, better practice. Practicing and cutting people open and making things better. It's a practice. Those are facts. So what is my ultimate goal? So let's ask yourself, this is just from coming down, breaking it down again, just like Martin, just like Luis. What's my ultimate goal? So the one thing not only applies to the long-term goals, it applies to the short, mid, and the next steps and the next steps. After you set the ultimate goal, it's what actions do I need to take? So you need to figure out what's the big goal and what actions you need to take to hone in on that goal. The next part is, what is the first step in the suit of the next big goal? What's the first step you need to take? Because that's what you're going to do consistently. So let me give you an example. My goal this year, the big goal, was to be the #1 content provider on growth to the world. So the next step was to be able to put out content on a daily basis. Are we tracking? Now, the #1 rated content in the world right now is in the form of video. Now, the two platforms that delivers video most effectively is Facebook and YouTube. You might ask, well, Dr. O, why are you doing videos on Facebook and YouTube? Because those are the two platforms, #1 and #2. Facebook is a big driver. Google is the bigger driver. So whatever you put on Facebook, whatever you put on YouTube, since Google owns it, videos pop up. Whatever you put on Facebook, eventually through search engine optimization, Stephanie's goal, some of you get like, oh, Dr. O, remember all that? Yes, I do. Pretty good brain. I use it pretty well, right? She wants to know how she can use effectively the SEO. Well, start sharing your message more effectively daily. Become the badass chick on the planet daily. So I knew that was the big goal. What's the next step? What can I do daily? What can happen? Because these steps contribute to the mini goals that continue to contribute to the ultimate goal. So why are some of you here? Because the daily goals, when I'm looking to then basically create value. Let me just give you my Evil Secret Genius plan here. My Evil Secret Genius plan here is this. Now that each of you have showed up for this webinar, you got it from just 7 days of me putting the content out there. You want to learn your one thing. The hopes is this. It's threefold. So check it out. #1, the hope is that you learn from this webinar, because I put this webinar together specifically because not enough people knew how to find their one thing. So I'm listening to my audience. Write that down. You have to listen to your audience and then curate your message to what your audience need, not what you believe they need. This one is specifically for most of you who are putting content out. Kella, Stephanie, anyone else. Most of us, we think we know this, like, oh, they need to know these 10 things. No, listen to them. And this webinar was never going to happen. But every day I'm doing the video, and it's simple for me to come to one thing because I've been using it for so long. Just my one thing. And almost every other person was like, I don't know how to find my one thing. So great. We create the webinar. So that's the first. The second is that you may eventually give me a testimonial about how this webinar has helped you. And then you start to tag your friends and other folks. Just being honest, because if I'm going to be the number one, I need other people talking and sharing. The more you share my message out, more people get to know. The more it's shared on Facebook and the more it's talked about and shared on YouTube, then I build the SEO optimization that Stephanie was talking about. I become the number one ranking leader in next level growth or achievement, right? It's the same way. But in order to do that, my next steps has to be in something that I'm going to serve. And the third and most important is, like, at the end, I ask you guys, I'm going to make you an offer to see how many of you want to work with me today. Now, I know I have a few clients that I've worked with before that on this webinar right now, like Vinny and a few others. That's probably going to be like, Dr. O, that's messed up because you charged us 5 times more than the offer I'm going to give you guys tonight. Yeah, trust me. Why would I do that? I'm going to make you an offer to work with me and connect and grow. I want to give you something that is going to deliver so much for you, because at the end of the day, I want to be able to have more testimonials of people who are succeeding in building their business and their brand that'll help the others who are looking, because the evidence of anything is success. If other people are seeing other folks are having success, they're like, well, oh, maybe I should go. I don't know this crazy guy I was talking about sex and this and that and all this other stuff. I don't know what he has to offer. Right? And here's what I'm gonna throw in. For anyone who doesn't really like to talk about sex, bad on you, because you were here because your parents had sex. I'm just saying. Just think about it. Yes, Debbie, if your parents didn't do it, you wouldn't be here. I love my parents. Now, I'm the last of 13 kids. Guess what most of my family does? Heller, most of us do. We just don't talk about it, but it's the fact. So successful people do what other successful people are doing. Now, what's the next step to the mini goal? And you take those, right? So it's big, small, smaller, smallest, which is what you do on a daily basis. Because if I didn't mention it before, write this one down. This is huge. And when you get this, it's going to be huge. Right? You know, that's right. Vero says sex always creates interesting topics. You are so right. It does. Anyways, I should write a Sex for Dummies book. I should. I probably should. And I just lost my trail of thought because, see, sex distracted me. It's okay because I'm sexy like that. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. This one thing, if you learn it and get it, it's going to shift everything for you. Write this down. Success is found in your daily routine. Now take the ownership of the verb. Success is found in my daily routine. Success is found in my daily routine. Now, if the things you're doing daily is not helping you be successful, what should you do? Change them. Don't major in minor things. Minor in the major things. Hello. Because here's what success is. Success is really taking failure turned inside out. It's not that tough. It's really like try, do, fail, repeat, succeed. Try, do, right? That's what it is. And then learn the lessons. So let's move forward now. I'm getting excited. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. Let me take a music break. I don't want to lose control, but I think I might. Woo! All right, that's it. Music break over. Let's go back to work. Oh my gosh. All right, so the one thing helps you to create clarity and direction. So in the big picture, it's what's my one thing for this year? And the small picture is what's my one thing today, right now? What's my one thing? So as we're going through, you can raise your digital hand. Who has not yet figured out a little of what their one thing is so far? Who hasn't figured out what their one thing is? Mo. Okay, awesome. Who else? Okay. All right, Mo, you're up front and center, bro. Mo, my bro, we're going to talk about your one thing.
Oh, hello, Dr. O. Oh, yeah, I'm doing something I was not supposed to do. Sorry for that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You got me.
Uh-huh. Okay. So
okay.
in what area or category are you expecting this one thing to be? Are you talking about your one thing for you in business?
Definitely, 100%.
Okay, great. So if you don't have your one thing, pay attention to what I'm going to do with Mo right now, so we can help with you. So for business, same with you, Carrie. So it's for business.
Yeah.
All right. Do you only have one business or other businesses?
Other businesses.
Other business. Okay, great. So how many businesses do you have?
In total, 3.
3. Which one of the 3 businesses do you want to find your one thing for?
My coaching business.
Your coaching business. Excellent. Does your coaching business, is a company already established, and do you have a name of that company?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. So have you set a goal yet for what you want in your coaching business or your coaching practice, for that goal to be like a financial goal, to say?
Yes, I did at the beginning of the year.
The beginning of the year. All righty. Dun, 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 boom, boom. Let's clear. All right, Mo. So here we go.
Yep.
Mo, what is that financial goal?
€1 million.
1 million euros. So 1.5 million US dollars. Right?
Yep.
Which is, let's go and make it simpler. 1 mil euro. So we're going to come back to that there. Mo,
Yep.
what is the cost of your coaching program?
8,000 per client.
8,000. How much is that in euros?
8,000 euro plus VAT. Euro.
Okay. See how you're confusing me already, Mo?
So 8,000 euro plus VAT.
So 8,000 euros.
Yeah.
For your program. Okay.
Yeah.
Okie dokie dokie. Forget the VAT for now.
Okay.
The cost of it is what's important. The VAT comes because that's for us in America, we call that's Uncle Sam. They have to have. For those of you who didn't understand what he was saying, he's basically saying tax, 8,000 plus tax. That's what he's saying.
Yep.
Right? So that is whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy. All right. Yours is so simple, Mo. Ta-da. Okay, Mo.
Yep.
We are going to do some numbers. I want you to divide 8,000 by 1 million. What is the number that you get? Whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy.
0.008. Does that make sense?
Nope, it doesn't. So take 1 million divided by 8,000.
Oh yeah, you told me the other way around.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's 125.
125.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to say it yet. Did anybody just get that revelation? Okay. Who got that revelation? Debbie, what did you learn?
What I learned is that if you have your goal and you know what the cost is, for example, in this example, his program, if you divide that 1 million with that 8K, the 125, you know exactly how many clients he needs to get for this year.
Awesome. So now, Mo, now that you know that, thank you. See, smart girl. That's why she's running numbers. What we're going to do is I always like to play with round numbers that gets me to my goal, right?
Okay.
So now you can set a goal for 130 students for this year, for 2021.
Cool.
Or clients. Let me ask you a question, Mo, because I can pretty much feel the relief from you.
How do you do that?
Hey, did that just get really simple for you?
Yes.
Okay. So now here's what we do. divide 130 by 12. And what do you get?
10.
10. Look at that.
10.8. So I round it to 11.
Right? So 11. 11 clients per month. Right?
Yep.
And let's just call it, because we're going to stay on the over 12, 12. So 144 this year. Right? 12 a month, which is basically virtually within your system that you can do, which translates to, 3 a week. Yeah?
Yep.
Yay. So you now have to ask yourself, what is the one thing that you can do daily that'll help you generate 3 clients a week, which is 24,000 euros of income a month?
0.6, 0.6. So reach out to 50 people.
Great. Now, if you need to reach out to 50 people, what is the best way for you to do that? What's the one thing you can do to be able to give you access to 50 people?
First of all, find where they are.
Great. Look at that. He's getting there. Now, one of the key questions that was asked, because I'm was going to get into it later on, but she did, so I want her to feel that she's being heard too. Vero, again, Vero's got the great comments. My new favorite person, by the way. Vero says, how long is your program?
6 months.
6 months is your program. Excellent. Now, you need to find where they are. Where do you think they are initially?
My ideal client is in LinkedIn.
Awesome. So are you doing LinkedIn ads?
Nope.
Oh, well, there's a big one. Big one. How much time are you spending on LinkedIn?
Brutally honest, 0.
Oh, okay.
Well, I tell you why. Because
No explanation.
No excuses. Okay. Brutally honest.
Not excuses.
0.
No explanation.
Yep. No explanation.
Because
sorry.
Let me tell you, awareness leads to change.
Yep.
Let me break it down for you all. Awareness leads to choice. Choice leads to action. Action creates results, and results drive change. But awareness gives you clarity. Now you're clear on where your clients are and where you need to go to find them. No excuse, no explanation.
Good.
Right?
Yep.
Now, second part, do you have a marketing plan?
Yes, I do.
Great. Do you have anyone to help you purpose your content or repurpose it?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Do you know how to put it all together?
Working on it. So
Working
no.
on it. Okay. Just saying. I happen to work with one of the best in the world, by the way. If you want me to introduce you to them, I can.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. You can reach out to her. It's Afia, by the way. Simple. She's right here.
I know the lady.
Right? Vera says her too. So Vera, you can reach out to Afia. Afia, raise your hand, say something so Vera knows who you are.
Something.
There you go. See? Listen, the number one skill of successful people is following instructions. So Vera, if you didn't know who Afia was, that's the young lady that said something. So let me ask you a question now, Mo. Does that help? Did it make sense?
Absolutely, 100%.
Right? Do you feel better? Do you have more clarity?
I feel I have a path. Yes.
Absolutely.
Better than when I started with you.
Excellent. So now that we've taken the big picture and we have the small picture, here's the part I'm going to leave you with to be able to figure out what you're going to do on a daily basis. So a lot of it, you said 0 time on LinkedIn. So instead of overwhelming yourself, at least every day you need to go on LinkedIn now. And you might ask, well, what do I do on LinkedIn, Dr. O? Yes. Start relationships. Do I do that, Dr. O? How about you start making a presence on LinkedIn? You see what I'm doing on Facebook?
Yep.
You should start doing on LinkedIn.
Okay.
because you want to start creating content that people knows what you do and what you have to offer. Like, who just got some really good nuggets out of that one? Right? So I hope that helps for you. Now we can move forward a little bit. The song said, whatever makes you happy, yay, 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 whatever. You're very welcome, my friend. I am so excited and I just can't hide it. Now, this can also be segmented, like we were just talking about. For example, for a health goal or a course, like we just talked about, over the course of a month or a year, the span of time can be specific or vague. His course is 6 months long. So basically, on average, you're going to be running, I'm going to give you a good way to market it. You could be running say that you're launching 2 programs. Hey, you can start for like the next 2 to 3 months. You can start promoting your next program starts in, 90 days or whatever. So you're building up enough to release this new program that starts in 90 days, which when that goes for 6 months is towards the end of the year. And then the next one you launch again around October, when that one is almost finished. You'll have more than enough testimonials to roll over into the new one, so on and so forth. Make sense?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, I'm giving you exactly what I'm doing anyway. So
Thank you. I mean, it makes sense for my brain, not what you're saying.
Remember, a leader will never tell or teach unless they practice what they preach. So as we narrow down the one thing template, here it is, right here. The one thing. What's the one thing I can do? The goal, whatever your goal is. What's the one thing I can do within a time frame? Put it. It could be specific or non or vague. But if you put a time element, then you know the restraints you put on there. What's the one thing I can do? Where does that goal or that time to create clarity and direction towards its attainment? Yes. What is the one thing? So if you're writing, I hope you took that screenshot, whatever. Hope you get it. You can get it in the recording too. So here's a few category specific examples. And what I'm going to do, instead of me reading it, I'll just call in a few folks to read it. I'm calling Debbie because I see Debbie first. Can you read number 1 for career?
Sure. What is the one thing I can do to exceed my expectations this month to create clarity and direction towards its attainment?
And that's specifically for you, Debbie. Career, for you. What's the one thing you could do for your business in trading to get you towards that $1 million?
Stick to my plan.
Boom. There you go. Very simple. Stick to your plan and your daily routine. You do just that. Now, fitness. This one is good. And it comes right, he falls right under you. Keller, what's the one thing? Oh, I'm sorry. Read that one.
What is the one thing I can do to build muscle this year that creates clarity and direction towards its attainment?
Boom. What's the one thing you can do, Keller?
Accessory work for powerlifting.
Meaning
volume.
Okay. Meaning
in order for me to hit my max out goal for my weight, I must do volume, accessory work daily.
Okay. Now, how often will you do that? It's a trick question daily. You already said it. It was just to make sure that you were paying attention to what you actually said.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, good.
Actually, it's not daily. It shouldn't be daily. Sorry. It's actually
what should it be?
3 times a week.
3 times a week. Excellent. Yep. Now, is it 3 times a week or 3 specific days during the week that you will set?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're on it. Number 3, relationships. Ooh. Let's see. I'm going to pick on Dad. Louis, relationships. Because, of course, I want my mom to get all the love and sexiness so she can get from him.
Relationship. What is the one thing I can do to enhance my relationship with my spouse this week that create clarity and direction toward its achievement?
Awesome. So what's one thing you can commit to that's going to help for your
Better
relationship?
Communication.
Bam. Now, I'm going to give a suggestion that Because when we say better communication, sometimes that's vague. It would be effective communication. So a good way to communicate effectively and test that would be whenever you share, because this is my mom, you know what I'm saying? Whenever you share and whatever it is you're sharing to communicate to her, you ask if she either heard you correctly, or if she asked you something, you say, did you understand me correctly? Or did I understand you correctly? So that it's making sure that she understands 100% the direction of what it is you're actually sharing. Effective communication is the number one. I'm glad you said that. It's the number one thing that drives relationships. There's only 3 things that make relationships fail, and it's effective communication, sex, and money. Those are also the 3 topics that have relationships either fail or succeed. So Dad chose the right one. That's because he's cool. He's my dad. Sexy like that. Thank you so much. And now for business. I'm going to go to my favorite person in the world. For those of you who didn't know, Vinny, what's the one thing? Where is he at? Where is Vinny? There he is. All right, Vinny, this one's for you. Business. Well, I'll read it for Vinny. Hopefully he didn't fall asleep on me. What's the one thing I can do to increase our market share in this quarter that creates clarity and direction towards the attainment of it? And for us, I'm doing it right here. It's being able to share and influence other influencers to help them grow their business, to provide value for them. Does that make sense? And how do I do that on a daily basis? By how we attracted everyone here, putting out those videos. Look at how powerful the choice of doing those videos is to be able to have everyone here. Is this helping? Awesome. I'm glad it is. All right. We're getting to the end here. As we wrap up here in the next few minutes, for income, what's the one thing? Debbie already had her set. What's the one thing I can do as an entrepreneur to increase my income this year that will create clarity and direction towards its achievement? That amount was $1 million for her. So almost everyone here, $1 million for Mo. And I want to get you $1 million, Mo. Get you $1 Get it? $1 million, Mo. So what's the one thing you can do? It's the one thing. So as we wrap up, is it okay now? Because I'm going to transition to show you how you can work with me, and not only just me, but in my opinion, the world's #1 content repurposer this year to help your business, yourself, and your life go to a whole other level. Twice a month, we're going to do a live Q&A Zoom with you and other entrepreneurs to help you through. Vinny says, I wasn't asleep, my screen froze. Okay, got you, sir. So if you can, Vinny, what's your one thing for business? Let's go back to that one, because it's my favorite person. I have to make an exception, right? People say they don't have favorites. I do. They be lying, but I tells the truth. Vinny, can you read number 4 and share for us what's yours? Hopefully screen is not frozen again. Oh, man. Okay, I digress. So I'm going to share with you now and give you the opportunity to possibly work together so I can help you with this one thing more for the year. By giving you the one thing now, you have your one thing, but what's the one thing income-wise? And it doesn't matter what business, whatever it is that you're doing, what is the one thing you can do as an entrepreneur to increase your income this year that will create clarity and direction towards its attainment? And I promise you that one thing is this. It is to change your mind. And it's like, Dr. O, what? Yeah. There is nothing. Type in the word in the comments. Nothing. All caps. Nothing, like you're screaming. Nothing. There's nothing more powerful than that of a changed mind. You listen, you can change your clothes. That's external. You can change your home. You can change your zip code. You can change your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife. I did that once. Wasn't working out. Had to change. Practice wife. That's a whole other story for another webinar. But it's all good. There is nothing more powerful than changing your mind. So, for example, let me take a quick poll here. If you've earned a 6-figure income within a calendar year, put your digital thumbs up. If you've earned 6 figures or more within 12 months, right? Put your thumbs up on there. Okay. Awesome. 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 Right. If you've earned less than 6 figures, put the celebration sign up. Like, hey, I'm getting to 6. If you've never earned a 6-figure income or above, put that, okay, great, got it, no problem, get it, got it, awesome. Now, if you've earned a 7-figure or more, then just put the, yay, the plus sign, like, yay, right? 7 figures or more, right? See if you, okay, awesome, got it within a calendar year, wonderful, awesome. Now, let me give you the answer to the difference between the 3 income brackets I just went through. It's all mindset. Those who earn less than 6 figures, more than 6 figures, or 7 figures and above, it's all on how they think. Why? Because what you think influences how you actually produce, how you actually show up. It all has to do with changing your mind, right? So there's nothing more powerful than a changed income, a changed mind. Now, as an entrepreneur, as a risk taker, here's what a changed mind means for you so that you can understand as we go a little deeper. A changed mind means you then change your habits. A changed mind means you have changed attitudes. A changed mind means you have changed behaviors. Now, once your habits, your attitudes, and your behavior begins to change, it changes your productivity. And your productivity in life and business, that is what influences the change in your revenue. Is this making sense? So if it is, let me ask you this. How would you like to learn what it actually takes when you change your mind, how to effectively change your mind? That's actually chapter 1 of the book, of my book, Today's the Day. It's okay to change your mind. You have to know it's okay to stop thinking the way that didn't help you to earn income a certain way, and how you have to think in order to then create the great habits, which I call your habitudes, which are your habits, attitude, and behaviors, which directly lead to it all. So the one thing question for you is this: is there something, or the one thing that you can do this year for your business to create clarity and direction towards the attainment of 7 figures? The answer is absolutely yes. And that answer is, the one thing that you can do is change your mind. Well, changing your mind is great, but once you change your mind, don't you think that you actually need something else to put into it? If you come with an empty cup, don't you need to fill it? Well, to fill it with the right things, with the right attitude, with the right beliefs, with the right performance, to be able to give you the chance to become, to have the right habits of the wealthy, the right attitude, the right behaviors, the right productivity hacks, in a sense, or the right revenue change will come from you doing the right daily action steps, right? Here's proof of it. So I did the one thing. We're all here to learn. It's only because I decided to change. I wanted to help more of my friends or more of the people that are connected to me personally. So I changed one productivity hack by putting out one video a day. And by focusing on my one thing, realize that most of us who are entrepreneurs, who are successful, we all still struggle with the same thing. Now, it's so amazing because Afia and I was just talking, and I shared with her before that the most highly successful people in the world all struggle with the same thing we all do. They're just broke at a different level. So they're just thinking differently. She had the opportunity to experience that with me the other day. It's crazy. We all go through the same things. So I'm going to give you that opportunity to learn how to change your mind by changing habits, attitudes, and behavior to have better productivity and generate better revenue as the wealthy do. Now, here's what it is. Here's the answer to it. It's in the power of today is the day. You might was like, today's a Dr. O, that sounds crazy. Yeah, you live every day today. What's the one thing you can do today? Now, it's a course that I've created and I've taken people through, and I'm giving it today. You guys are going to see the pricing. It's ridiculous. Online, so you have access to it, but we're still going to interact with you live twice a month, once every other week, to help you grow, give you instruction, send you out for another week, change, come back and do some more. It's a course engineered specifically for you, for entrepreneurs, to teach you the one thing, how to generate significant results from a changed mind, how to generate specific results. Now, this is what I've used with years of research from, get this, the goals and the challenges of the super wealthy. All the lessons that they've learned, I've created a course to help the average person. Because you know what the truth is? The truth is, if I get up right now and I go to the bathroom, I'm going to use the bathroom the same way you all use the bathroom. So these came from large corporations, from like Walmart. Walmart's been a client of mine for over a decade. Chevron has been a client of mine. Walgreens and Intel, these are all clients of mine. So these are all the megalomaniac giants in a sense. And I've taught, helped them to move and grow year after year for the last decade and less than a decade for some. Now, for professional and Olympic athletes, I've done the same too, and members of government. I did it to the San Diego Chargers, we did it to the city of Oceanside, and I did it to the United States Marine Corps wrestling team. You might be asking, well, what's so cool or sexy about that, Dr. O? I'm about to show you. First thing I want to show you, though, is where you all are right now. We're ready for a change. So I'm going to give you the formula. I bet you didn't think you were going to learn algebra tonight or trigonometry. You weren't? No, it's okay. We're all ready for this change. Now, if you're ready for me to divulge, and we have about 4 slides and we're going to wrap up and it'll be done. So if you're ready to be over, go like this. Yay! See, go like that. Put up the little sign. Yay! Because I'm about to give to you right now the readiness, the formula for the readiness for change. Because giving you the formula so you know it's changing your mind. If you know what it takes when you're sick and tired and you don't know what to do, there's actually a formula to know where you are, and then a formula to figure out of what to do. So the readiness for change formula is this. You're ready to change. That's the R. R means the readiness. That's equal to your dissatisfaction currently with where you are in life, multiplied by the vision that you had for yourself and the knowledge that you have held all your life to get you here. So basically, D times V times the K. You're dissatisfied with what you know that's gotten you where you're at, for where you believe you should be. That's the vision. Now, that pain inside is greater than anything else, which is why we're seeking the change. So now that you know your one thing, here for the rest of the year, we can help you with that one thing, developing how to get to 7 figures. How many of you guys would like that? You can raise your digital hands like, yeah. Debbie's laughing like, yeah. Right? We can help you walk through that entire process. And I'm excited. Thank you for participating. But I can't just leave you just with the readiness formula. I need to actually give you the formula for change. Now, here's the formula for change. This is what it looks like. Some of the same thing, but a little differently, that's going to help you. And this is what we're going to walk you through step by step as you go throughout this year, right? The D now, which is your dissatisfaction and your vision, is still the same. But what we remove from that knowledge, because you know, we all know it's not knowledge. They say knowledge is powerful. Well, that's a lie. It's applied knowledge. You can know all the right answers, but if you never know how to put it on the test, you will show up with a 0 or a 70, barely passing. So it's not knowledge. It's not just the knowledge. What is your plan? So the formula for change is the dissatisfaction plus the vision multiplied by the plan, your plan of action. How am I going to get to my goal of a multiple $1,000,000 business? Well, specifically for this program that I'm sharing with you guys tonight, the goal for that is $1 million by the end of the year. Now, this course is pretty much $5,000 to just the course alone, not all the other stuff I'm giving you. That's $5,000. That's easy. That's simple. That's easy to do. It's only 1,000 people. Yeah, we're great. Less than that. It's good. But tonight, I'm going to give it to you for less than 1,000. So that was the plan. But how am I going to get that plan? For an entire year, I'm going to put out great content on Facebook every single day to find and generate and build with people. So that's the plan. Now, my belief in that happening, which is B, plus the actions, which is daily consistent actions. So if I then take my plan, my belief, and my action every single day for the remainder of the year, that's going to drive the change. That's going to give the results. That's going to give the one thing, which is basically that $1 million for just that course alone. Now, I know it's going to be way more than that, but I worked out my numbers just the same way I did with Mo. So it's 1,100 people because I'm giving away, literally giving it away for $9,500. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, less than $1,000. Okay, it's not 10 grand. It's less than $1,000. So $995. Nelly just went, oh, Dr. O, you're killing me. So 1,100, because you may like to round up. We know it's 1,100 clients at the end of the year. And you are actually the first individuals getting to see it for this year. For this year, which brings it down to about 92 people a month. And since I know that's roughly 23 people a month that we need to bring on board, which brings it down to about 3 individuals a day. That's doing the course. Now, when you think about that, I know what my one thing is, and that's how the formula is going to affect it. Does this make sense? If it makes sense, drop a 1 in the comment. Drop a 1 in the comment if it makes sense. Excellent. Thank you guys so much for participating. Now, let's get towards the close. I'm going to show you all how cool this really is. So instead of telling you about some of the folks who went through, I'm going to give you an example of some of the folks who went through this course. Now, let me preface this because remember I said, you know, some of my previous clients are actually on the Zoom right now, and they're probably going to be like, Dr. O, why are you giving? We paid 5 times that amount. It's okay. It's New Year, I'm helping. You get a chance to see their journeys, but what you're seeing here will be what happened to them after they went through the course. And then we did the master version of it. And here's what they had to say.
Today's the day is amazing. Dr. Obom Bowen, he really gave it his all, and we learned so much. I've learned so much. Totally amazing on how he breaks everything down on how your brain works.
You know, his chapter 9 is seeing yourself in the future, because obviously if you can't project or look at yourself and how you or where you want to be in the future, you're obviously never going to be there.
I mean, this guy is so informative, and he breaks things down so simple where it made me to be able to understand, to be able to explain to someone else.
And so it's helped me to balance my life of being a single mom as well as my career in real estate.
I had no idea that for my entire life I was living in victimhood and victimization. It was something that was habitual. And through Today is the Day, I learned that I can change that thought process and really change where I'm going in my life.
If we see ourselves a certain place in the future, and we will succeed. We cannot let our self-conversations with ourselves stop us from succeeding. If you want success, the choice is yours.
Now, isn't that incredible? Think about it. Some of those students or clients have gone on to make 6, a few 7, 2 8-figure income earners. Crazy. Now, how many of you would actually like to see when we did all the Zooms and stuff together where they were all learning, trying to put their stuff together, coming from where they were confused and figuring stuff out? How many of you guys would have loved to gone through the experience of that with them and see how they put all their stuff together, figured it out, and we worked with them on a week-to-week basis, helping them figure out their businesses, launched it, and now they're profiting, they're focusing on their one thing, and they're scaling, getting bigger. How many of you guys would like to actually see what that was like for them? All right, raise your digital hand. How many of you guys would like to see that? Cool beans, awesome, awesome. I love it. In the course, you're gonna get the chance to go through the entire walkthrough process with them. I actually put in all the actual recorded webinars with every single one of them before their brands build up, before they were somebody. You get to go through back to like, oh my gosh, how many of you guys recognize Vinny who's on there? Vinny was in there, right? Vinny's book, The Leader in You Today, is one of the one of the #1 books on leadership. He sold, I think close to $50,000 of copies in books already. And the book is like barely a year old, right? It's crazy. He learned all kinds of cool. He was at one of the masterminds. It's insane. So you'll get access to that and them, and you get to join one of the groups that they're into. It's all good. They might be so mad with me, but I said, none of it would happen without a changed mind. Because as I said before, this wasn't said by me. I wish I was this intellectual to figure it out. But Frank Outlaw says, watch your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions, and your actions become your character. But your character becomes your destiny. The number one thing that'll help you move forward is a changed mind towards your destiny. I am so grateful, as I shared with you all. These are all the things listed here that becomes the bonuses that you have in this package. Like I said, it's only for $995. You have the patterns for high performing individuals, which is a $2,500 program that's in the course. Now, I said patterns for high performing individuals. That means those who are the super wealthy, the super athletes, the mega rich, the same patterns of behavior and thoughts that they have. I'm giving you the same program so that you can learn what they learn. You're going to get that thrown into the whole system, step-by-step system, behavioral enhancement performance training. That's a $3,500 value. And then the 15 training videos modulated go through so you can work through the whole process. And then for those in the relationships, Dad, this is for you. It's a program that was just in itself. These assessments, they're the most powerful relationship assessment tool that we've used in all our relationship business for $550. The 7 secrets to relationship that make you last. And listen, there's so much more. I can go on and on and on. But the most important thing is you get access to a 6 months unlimited access virtual training full suite and bi-weekly training with not only just myself, but the young lady that helps me take my courses to the bank and cash from the day-to-day performances and things that I do, Ms. Sophia Alfaiz. So for those of you who don't know, let me do this before I forget, actually. Let me grab the link for this thing, because I want to talk a little bit about her before we close out. I know we've been on here for almost 2 hours now. I got so excited, I got carried away. That's what happens when you're excited. You get carried away. For those of you who are absolutely excited and you want to work together, I'm going to post the link in the comments so you guys can click on the link. You can go to the link and you can get the deal. It's going to be up there for another few days. Post the direct link here. But if you want to, I made it even simpler. You can go to theyearoftheonething.com and you'll find it there, right? Or you can click on the link inside and it'll walk you through. So when you click on that link, it'll walk you through everything else. It'll be so much cooler. So it's less than $1,000. But like I said, I wanted to brag on a fee a little bit before we close out for today. But before I actually do that, let me ask you guys a question. Did you have fun tonight? Did you get the answer to the one thing you asked for? Before I even talk about, hey, I'd like to work with you, did you get the one thing you showed up for tonight? If you did, right, thank you so much. Drop a 1 in the comments or raise your digital hand, or, show a surprise, a heart, whatever. If you got what you came for, I'm so excited because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to serve. I wanted to be able to give, but not just give. Some people give, but people don't receive because they don't give what the people actually really want. You're so welcome. Thank you for those of you who are saying welcome. Here's what I want to do. Here's my offer. I'm not going to sell you too hard, other than if you would like to get to where you really want to go this year. And by the way, on the page, for those of you who might be having a financial struggle, no problem. I made it a 3-payment system. So you can pay, it's like $335 3 times you get it. If you do need to, and money is tough, message me and I'll figure out with you some way to help you get through the whole thing. But this course is completely amazing. For those of you who was on the webinar tonight, for the remainder of the year, I'm going to be sharing my videos. Join in on the videos, comment on the live ones, comment, ask, tag, and share and like with other folks. But the problems that you're having, I'm going to give you some answers to your questions. Not the full answers. If you want the full answers, join the program. There's my, right? Debbie's like, oh, I knew there was a catch. There is not a catch. Well, with the program, it gives me a chance to work with you more directly and specifically, and to be able to work with Afia. Well, who is Afia and what does she actually do? This young lady helps me to put all my programs and stuff together to bring it to the world and create change. She is an internet advertising and messaging consultant, right? Living here in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, let me tell you what that means. If you do business in the real world, 2020 hit last year with COVID, you now have to do business in the digital world. She's the person that's going to help you take your message and frustration of trying to do it in person and do it online. She's what helps me do that to her. She is the best at it. I won't say she is the best at it. If she wasn't the best, I wouldn't have been working with her. But here's what she really does for you. As an entrepreneur, she connects you to your core message throughout your business and your service. That's what she really does. She is the hashtag #1 mom in the world. She loves beaches because life's a beach in her world. So when we go to Hawaii, she'll be hanging out with Dean and Kella. It's all good. And she's the mother to Imani, the world's greatest 10-year-old joke maker. You guys have to read her joke book. It's amazing, right? But she says she's the chain breaker. She's the bringer of rain, right? But she helps bring balance through marketing and sales. What I want to say before we go for each of you tonight is thank you for your time and your patience, because the one thing is the simplest method for the next level achievement for you. Focusing on the one thing at a time is the most effective way to accomplish your goals for 2021 and beyond. And what I'm doing here before we close is giving you an offer, an opportunity to work together with me for the remaining, it's a 6-month program. But for those of you who decide to get started with us now, you can go in the click the link and save it in the comments. We're going to work with you. Here's that additional bonus I didn't even talk to Afia about. She's probably going to be like, what? We're going to work with you for the remainder of 2021. Right? You're going to have access to the entire platform, right? That's going to be lifetime access, but you'll also be able to have access. We're going to have a private Facebook chat where you can talk to us daily about your things, ask questions. We're going to answer those. You're going to have some help from Afia and myself. Now, she does her own webinars, which is to help you repurpose your content. Basically, she helps you do what I do for my businesses. How many of you would like that to happen for your business? Like, truthfully. Awesome. She does her own webinars too in helping you do that. I don't know when the next one is. Afia, when is your next webinar, by the way? She's laughing. She's like, haha. When's your next? She's like, oh, I didn't put one down.
The next webinar is going to be next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Okay, awesome. What time is your next webinar?
At 7 p.m.
7
Same
p.m.
time.
Okay, great. So her webinar, same time, will be on repurposing your content as an entrepreneur. So ladies and germs, gentlemen and gentle ladies, thank you so much for having fun with us tonight. Happy Saturday, Happy New Year's. I'm so glad that you each now have your one thing. So when I do my one thing videos, you can say your one thing, you can share those, and you can like, hey, if you guys want to learn your one thing, I guess I'm gonna do another one of these the week after her webinar then. But thank you so much for your time. I'm about to sign off. Say sayonara, das vidanya, goodbye. But I truly, truly want to encourage you to come work with us. Click on the link. I put it in the tab, or go to theyearoftheonething.com and you'll find it there. If you're interested, also message me on Facebook because we're all connected there and I will follow up with you. But with that, take care. God bless you. Thanks for joining in. If any of you want the recording, let me know. We'll get the recording back out to you. Take care. Bye for now. So long, farewell. We're here to say goodbye. We skip, we dance, we do it all the time. Goodbye. Bye, everyone. Love you guys.